Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Scott Halverson, and today we are talking about Gloomhaven and what my feelings and thoughts are on game one. We're gonna actually there's a group of us going to play this game over a period of time, and we're gonna try and play as many scenarios as we feel comfortable playing before we get tired of the game or whatever. So right now we have 4 players. There's 4 of us, and yeah, with that, it's gonna take us still a really long time to play this game. Um, there's 95 scenarios, I believe, in the original set. We also have a booster somewhere up yonder. Yeah, right up in, right there. The expansion, not a booster. And it also adds on a pile of scenarios. So, my first opinion of Gloomhaven when I opened it was it is an absolutely humongous, ridiculous game. The box itself probably weighs, I don't know, probably 15, 20 pounds. Just the box itself. And I mean, it's kind of hard to show you. This is just the cover, but we'll do our best here to show you how thick that is compared to my skull. I mean, you can see that's a good probably 6 to 8 inches right there. And yeah, that's a big box, and it is full. I mean, absolutely brim full when you get it. And trying to get everything back in the box after you open it up is also interesting. But you know what? Needless to say, we're going to give it a whirl. We're going to try it, and we played round 1, and round 1 was a very interesting learning experience. Before we get on to that, though, I want to tell you about just the setup of this game and the initial understanding of all the parts and pieces is quite ridiculous. So when you open up the box, you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces and hundreds of cards and a whole bunch of other boxes that some you can open, some you can't open, because it's a legacy style game, so you open it as you go while you're playing. And yeah, it just gets a little bit silly. Which, I mean, for me and the people that are playing, we kind of like that. That's kind of fun, and that's kind of our thing, you know. We played Charterstone in the past, and now we're playing this, and you know, it's fun. We like it. We enjoy it. But I would say just unboxing everything, taking everything out of the box, and sorting it all out so you know what to use initially probably took just a couple hours by itself. There's just that many pieces. There's multiple rule books. There's one rule book, right? Then there's the scenario book, which is, you know, as you can see, way bigger than the rule books when you put them next to each other. So I would say overall, though, the rules aren't hard. Like, we had to read them. There was a little bit jumping around in the book, but they're not hard to learn. It's not difficult. There's a few little things we missed out on, which I promise you, when you start playing that first scenario, the game will teach you immediately some things you can, some things you shouldn't do. And we found that out right away when our round 1, we lost one of our players immediately before we even got to start playing. Like, and well, that's not true. We went through the city event, which you have to do at the beginning of the game. And then you go through a road event, which we had to do. Then we can unlock a place, which we did. And when that fight started, we lost our one player right away, just gone. So instead of trying to play another hour or whatever it was going to take for the other 3 of us to go home, excuse me, we decided to go ahead and restart that scenario because, well, we didn't want 2 or 3 hours of setup, which was what it was initially, to play and then have one of our players not be able to play the actual game because he got knocked out within the first 5 minutes of the first round. So which worked out good because then we ended up going into that scenario with a little better idea of what to do, and we did do pretty well. It's still, the game drug out quite long, mostly because we were still learning, and yeah, so it just drug out a little bit. But I think, and we still never finished the first scenario. We ran out of time because the way the game works, you run out of cards, you run out of time, you can use the cards. And so we never completed the first scenario. We failed. But today we're going to try again. And I think with what we know then to what we know now, what we knew then compared to what we know now because we played a little bit, I think we're going to do much better. I think this game has a long-term replayability factor to it that we're going to enjoy a lot because this is one of those games that we can go back to over and over and over and play, and you can add new players and take old players out or whatever. But it is something definitely that has some replayability factor. I know it's challenging enough that when you get competitive gamers like the ones we're playing with, we don't want to lose. And so we're going to be determined not to. And if we keep getting beat, we'll probably just never play again. And this big expensive box will probably just go sit on a shelf somewhere. Or I'll resell it to somebody else. Anyway. So yeah, that is my review of Gloomhaven. It is an absolute beast of a game. The learning curve is not too bad. Like I said, we figured it out. It took us, the longest part of it was just figuring out all the cards and figuring out all the meaning of all the stuff that's in the box. Which I don't know if you've never seen a box of Gloomhaven stuff before. Well, I will slowly pull some of this out of the box for you, and we will see what is going on here. But it is, I mean, there's piles and piles of stuff in this box that some have to do with some scenarios, some have to do with other scenarios, and not all of it's used at one time, thankfully, because otherwise it would be a little ridiculous. But I will get all this out for you, and I will show you what is going on here. Now, again, not all this is used at one time. In fact, most of this isn't used at all, because most of them are very specific to a scenario. Anyway, did I mention there's 18 different characters you can play with? Now, you have to unlock some of them throughout the game, and that's fine, which is cool. I mean, I kind of like that you have to earn it because it's a legacy-style game. But 18 different classes or races or whatever you want to call them. Now, some of this I'm not going to pull out of the box because I don't want to lose them. But I will go ahead and show you here the chaos of Gloomhaven. It is quite wild, as it turns out. Let's see, make sure. Oh, that's not. Let's go fall. Okay. Anyway. Now, we have gone ahead and reorganized some of this into like Ziploc bags, which I would highly recommend. If you are going to play this game, I would recommend you put everything into Ziploc bags. Now, not all these bags are appropriate for what's in them, because some of the bags were a little bigger, but I didn't have a whole lot of smaller ones. I'll probably end up getting some. As you can see, I put the cards. A lot of people also sleeve their cards, which I have not bought sleeves for it yet. I have not committed to this game that hard yet, but at some point we probably will. So, anyway, here you go. Quick look at what's going on in this. As you can see, there's a lot of stuff. Well, it's my phone and my water, but that's not part of the game. You can see in there, you have all the character choices, and then you have all their little boxes, which each one of those little boxes tell you everything you need to know about the character. It also gives you character cards that you can play with. And then, of course, all this is just parts of the game that you need to play. Like I said, some of these pieces, you have these, which are all part of scenarios. And some of these go on to certain scenarios, and some do not. Right? Anyway. So, that is that for this review of Gloomhaven. I just wanted to let you know. I will keep you guys updated on what's going on with this. And, yeah. Well, I'll just keep you updated. We'll keep making videos on Gloomhaven as long as we're playing and tell you how everything's going. And we'll tell you if we win or lose scenarios. Anyway, until next time, my name is Scott. You call me Guff. I'll be signing off.